Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Dom Mafia Live. As many of you guys know, I'm live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST and also at 5:15 p.m. EST. Apologies for being late. I have been packing for the cruise that I am going on this upcoming week. So, as a reminder, guys, I'm going to be doing my best to make sure that I can stream as much as humanly possible. I don't know how the internet is going to be on the ship. But have no fear, you will at least get a bunch of short content from me on the YouTube channel by itself. I know, Sam. Sincerest apologies for being late, guys. Absolutely. Now, y'all read the title, and I've seen quite a few of you very angry, right? Like, I saw my boy come in here, and he goes, I'm not going to lie. This title pissed me off, Dan. Well, I'll tell you what. Unfortunately, folks, this is something that I've been talking about for the past couple of days. And it is the bye week, so obviously this is the week of hypotheticals. I can only glaze the Buffalo Bills. I can only glaze the MVP campaign for Josh Allen so long. I can only talk about how great our coaching staff has been, and I can only predict how many games the Buffalo Bills are going to win throughout the remainder of the regular season, as well as the potential seeding. But sometimes we need to rip the Band-Aid off, because I feel like I owe it to each and every single one of you to at least make it be understood that there is a strong possibility that Joe Brady will be leaving this offseason and become an NFL head coach. And I've seen quite a few of you in the chat be like, oh, but like, let's look at Ben Johnson, right? Like, he ended up staying over in Detroit. And I'm not going to lie to you. Listen, I would absolutely love if he decides to take that similar path and he decides to stay with Buffalo one more year. However, if you guys are getting to a point where you're thinking that this man won't even so much as have an interview during the playoffs, I think you're just naive at this point. Because let's take a look at the overall landscape of the NFL right now, right? I put out a tweet the other day where I ended up listing out all of the NFL teams currently that are more than likely going to be looking for a coach. And I will tell you what, at absolute bare minimum, there will be six teams that will be looking for a brand new head coach. And that's minimum. And there could be two more. It depends if somebody ends up throwing a curveball or like some game or some organization ends up going differently. The Jets, the Cowboys, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Bears, and the Saints. You can ignore all of these predictions of what head coaches I think are going there, because we can just sort of nip that in the butt, if you will. Okay? Jets, Cowboys, Bengals, Jaguars, Bears, and Saints. And I have been even hearing rumors that San Francisco is getting sick of Kyle Shanahan. So perhaps the 49ers job is going to be open, right? And I know that Brian Dable, right? Like, he was promised that his job is safe, but who knows? A lot can change there. So bare minimum, I think that there is going to be 6 head coaching vacancies by the time that the offseason ends up rearing its ugly head toward our way. And I want you to take a look at a couple of things, right? Because all of us were super excited about Josh Allen cementing his MVP season, right? We watched that Kansas City Chiefs game this past Sunday, and I think everybody in this chat was sitting there and saying, hey, dude, I think that was the game where Josh Allen showed the world that he's the MVP. He's going to win the MVP. Well, I'm going to tell you something, my friend. I'm going to have to tell you something. That was also the game that showed all of these teams that are currently looking for a new head coach that Joe Brady is him. Let's take a look at his resume. Okay, he took over for Ken Dorsey last year halfway through the season, where this offense was completely anemic, and this team was currently 6-6. And he ended up leading this Buffalo Bills team to ultimately end up winning the division, winning 5 straight games. Since then, he has ended up taking a team to a 15-3 record since he has been offensive coordinator, and has scored more than 30 points 11 out of the 18 games. And putting a cherry on top of this as well, folks, he scored 30 points on the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time in almost 2 years. So I'm going to tell you one thing. That's pretty damn impressive. That's pretty damn impressive if you were to ask me. Now, normally I would say, you know what, maybe it's not going to be this year, right? But the problem is why I genuinely believe that at bare minimum, he's going to have 2 interviews, or he will at least be interviewing for a couple of positions by the time that the playoffs are here, is outside of Ben Johnson, okay? And so I do want to ask everybody this question. Outside of Ben Johnson, who is a better offensive-minded candidate? Who is a better offensive-minded candidate other than Joe Brady right now? I suppose some of you might come in and say, oh, okay, well, Cliff Kingsbury is certainly interesting, but he just ended up coming back into the league after being a failed head coach a couple of years ago over in Arizona. So if I'm an NFL owner, I'm probably going to go with a guy that hasn't been a head coach. I'm not going to roll the dice on somebody that was a failure and ultimately ended up getting fired after a couple of years, right? I'd probably want to give Cliff Kingsbury at least 1 more year as an offensive coordinator to prove that he could potentially come back and look at it. But I mean, honestly, like, I challenge each and every single one of you. So to name a single, like, offensive-minded head coach candidate outside of Ben Johnson that is better than Joe Brady, right? Hence why I'm kind of like on that pedestal right now when it comes into it. I think that is where he's going to be. We have Kevin Snell coming on in. This guy's always negative, like every single time. I blocked him like 3 times. I've unblocked him, so to give him a second and a third chance. Let's see what he has. When the Bills are up doing what we want them to do, he always comes up with the opposite. He's a drama queen. Let's tell you something. You have issues. Kevin, I'm going to need you to scale back on the manic episodes. All right, bro? Because like sometimes I see you coming in here showing some love, and then I just see you getting like very easily irritated. I'm not sure what's going on in your personal life. I highly, highly hope that you get through whatever you are going through. But dude, it's not that deep. It's literally a football take, bro. It's literally a football take. You can kindly stop watching me. Kindly stop watching me, bro. You're so annoying. Coach salaries are not of the cap. So just pay him head coach money and keep him. So here's the deal. When it comes into Joe Brady, right? I feel like everybody, like on the face of the planet, I feel like what they do is that they think that players, coaches have some sort of loyalty to this organization. Like as our fans, right? Like us as Bills fans, we love the Buffalo Bills. Like more than anything, we love the Buffalo Bills. We would ride or die for this team regardless of when it comes into it, right? But here's the thing. The Buffalo Bills is nothing but a job to each and every single player on this roster. It is nothing but a job to each and every single coach on this staff. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, like I'm sure that they would like a particular sort of environment. But for the most part, and just reflect on your own day jobs, right? If you were to get a promotion from a different company down the road, which is 2 to 3x times your pay, and you have a leadership position, something that you've been going for your entire life, it would be better for your family. It would be better than all of that. Would you take it? Like, would you take it, right? That's kind of how it is. Maya's coming in and saying that not all coordinators make good head coaches. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not saying that he's going to be a good head coach, but I'm just saying that what he is doing is probably a bit more attractive than some of the other options. Because like I said, like there's going to be about 6 open opportunities, bare minimum. And not all of them are going to go for a defensive-minded head coach, right? Like, as far as what I'm thinking, right? So we have the Jets, who I think are probably going to end up going with a defensive-minded head coach. So I see Mike Vrabel. He's a defensive-minded head coach. I think that's probably the best candidate. I think the Cowboys are probably going to go with a defensive-minded head coach myself. Maybe another offensive mind, who knows? Bengals, in my opinion, are probably going to go with a defensive-minded head coach. That's my overall take. Jaguars, for the most part, I think that they are going to go with a defensive-minded head coach as well. Bears are going to go offensive. Saints are probably going to go offensive as well. That's all, like I'm saying. So the vast majority of these head coaches that are going to be up, that are rumored to take a head coaching position down the road, we're going to have to take this like way when it comes into it. Guys, block this mentally ill person, please. Block this mentally ill person, bro. You can't come in here anymore. And by the way, I do love Joe Moreno. He has a great show. But go annoy him. And please seek therapy. Get on meds, please. Guys, mods, please block this guy. 5th time I had to block this guy. I tried giving you another chance. And all you do is you come in here and you throw hissy fits. Oh my God, damn Mitchell. He doesn't agree with me. Oh my God. Dude, Kevin Snell. You're fired. Kevin Snell. Anyway, Kevin Smelly, get him out of here. But what job is actually great. He's going to the Bengals if he goes. See, I'll be completely honest with you. Fun fact, I have a genuine feeling that Bill Belichick is going to go over to the Cincinnati Bengals. That's my take. I honestly think he takes interviews and waits one more year before taking a head coach job. I would be fine with that. Listen, I would not be upset with it whatsoever. Didn't Brady win a national championship with Burrow? He certainly did. Jags need offensive-minded head coach with the way that Lawrence is playing, so they need a coach that could unhook him. In one more year, he will be a top 3 head coach selection. I mean, guys, listen, I'm not wishing this at all. I'm just saying that I'm seeing the writing on the wall. No, I don't like his header. Law is coming in. Yes, Joe Brady was at LSU. Brady and the Bengals if it opens up. I've seen so I've seen that he has some connections over at the Saints too. So say for example that he does get any interviews, it's more than likely going to be the Bengals and the Saints, I would say, are probably going to be some jobs that he will ultimately end up taking. Yes, Joe Brady was at LSU. Look at that, man. Look at that. Joe Brady to the Saints. And we have Silas came in and he says, Kevin smells. We have Silas coming here. Get your stinking ass out of here, Kevin Smells. Oh, no, bro. Oh, no, man. I started something. With Jamar Chase, too, Jonathan is saying, I think teams are realizing offensive coordinators aren't always good head coach candidates. Well, I mean, here's the deal, right? So here's the deal. I think that you need to go on ahead and, you do need to kick the tires eventually. And so I think that he's probably going to get the nod over somebody that was a failed head coach and is attempting to come back, right? And I think that the NFL really likes that whole look of a new guy or something like that. Okay. Why would you think that McDaniel would be fired? If he was fired, he would be picked up the exact same day. So I don't think he's going to be fired this year. And so I don't think that he's going to be fired this year, especially since they ended up giving Tua a contract. And so I agree he probably would get picked up. And that's what I also tell Bills fans. Say, for example, people start hating on Sean McDermott for some reason. What I say is I'm like, guys, you understand that he literally would be picked up as one of the first head coaching candidates immediately. He wouldn't be demoted to some sort of coordinator. He would be a head coach again that following season for some other team. I'd say him and McDaniel probably would be that as well. Joe Brady to the Bengals if they fire Zach Taylor. I think Zach Taylor's on borrowed time right now. We have Square. Who would be our new offensive coordinator? Tyler H. Who do you think is the best option for OC if Brady unfortunately leaves us? And do you think Shanahan would take an OC position? No, I think that Shanahan would probably end up being a scapegoat if he were to be fired. And I think that he would find a head coaching job almost immediately. If Shanahan is fired, I could potentially see him going to the Chicago Bears. I could see him potentially going to a couple of teams here and there. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I pray the Dolphins keep McDaniels forever. We have Jonathan. Bring back Dable once he gets fired. Michael, does TD really think that the Dolphins will make the playoffs? He doesn't seem that dumb on the huddle. So I'll be completely honest with you, Michael. I have no idea what goes through TD's mind at any given day. I don't. So I think that he plays a character online, and he definitely loves being able to stir the pot, much like myself, but we'll see. What if we see Eric Bieniemy come back? That could be a head coach date. I'm not sure. I think he's probably waiting. He's probably waiting for an opportunity elsewhere. And I'll tell you what, So that Chiefs offense really hasn't looked the same since he's been gone. So something to consider. So you don't let a coach go. That will be picked up the exact same day. You let them work the problems out. I agree. Pay them big money and they won't leave. Amy, Joe Brady has done a great job for us. Hard question to answer, but do you think we would find someone better? I mean, listen, one thing that should make us feel make us feel confident is that Josh Allen has had 3 different offensive coordinators, and he has shown that he can play with just about anybody as an offensive coordinator, even at the beginning of the Ken Dorsey era. It sucked after a while, but even at the beginning, he was still playing pretty lights out for the most part. If, for example, he does leave, I think that we would probably end up promoting within. I don't know who would get the nod, but Sean McDermott likes to promote within. I don't think that we would bring in anybody from the outside. And so far, it's been pretty good with Joe Brady. McDaniels is not a good head coach. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. I don't think the Dolphins will make the playoffs. However, it is not impossible. Amy is saying we lost a ton of games with Ken Dorsey. We certainly did. Buffalo, Dad D. TD is not delusional. He loves trolling, though, and we all love it when he does. Next week is the game for Miami. If they can go to Green Bay and win in cold and against good team, I would say Miami can make the playoffs. So, fun fact, guys, I'm not sure if you saw, this is actually something pretty intriguing right here, is that so the 49ers just announced that Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa will not play this weekend against Green Bay. They will not play against Green Bay on Sunday. So what does that mean? So does that mean that they're just trying to rest these guys because they think that the Buffalo game is more important? I highly doubt that that's the case, especially since this is an NFC matchup or an AFC matchup. How much does it really mean? Maybe they think that they can beat Green Bay because an NFC issue is going to be an issue there. But something to think about because Purdy and Nick Bosa are not going to be out there against Green Bay. Give Brady whatever he wants. We have Cameron saying, "What's up, Dan? Go Bills." What's up, man? How you doing? How you doing, man? We have Mojo rolling in. Maybe they have a chance now. We have Devontae Mott coming in. Yeah, but Allen blames himself for Dorsey firing. That was bad for his mental health. Yeah. I mean, maybe it was just bad. You know what I mean? Guys, listen, I have to go on ahead and give a shout out right to today's sponsor that just so happens to be Picasso's Pizza, guys. Picasso's Pizza is the best pizza in Buffalo, New York, hands down. We have 4 great locations in the Western New York area. I highly recommend that you go on ahead and check these dudes out. And say that you're not in the Western New York area. They are delivering nationwide, mailing za to your front doorstep. I don't care if you're in South Dakota. I don't care if you're in New Mexico, all right? Picasso's Pizza is delivering to you via the trusty mail service, folks. So go on ahead and definitely check out Picasso's Pizza. And one other thing I got to tell you fools about, something I think you're going to enjoy thoroughly, all right? We have a Thurman Thomas tailgate happening on December 8th against the LA Rams at 4 p.m. He's going to be there. He's going to be tailgating over at Batavia Downs at Club Bud Light, all right? And let me tell you what, use Thurman Tailgate when posting your Thurman pics on social media when you are there. I am talking, folks, drink samples, drink specials, food specials, and the best place on the face of the planet to watch all of your Buffalo Bills football right over here at Batavia Downs. Go on ahead and give them a shout and mark your calendars for December 8th when we face off against the LA Rams at 4 p.m. You cannot be disappointed with that, baby. I can almost tell you that. For his own good, he shouldn't sign with the Jets. I don't believe that he will. And the 49ers are not in a position to rest players unless they are hurt. I wonder how significant those injuries are. I bet Aaron Rodgers will be on the 49ers next year. We still have 17. We still have 17, don't we? This team will win the Super Bowl because of how diverse the wide receiver room is, and we have our own Sonic and Knuckles already. Julian, if you watched the stream earlier today, we ended up comparing how effective our rushing offense was. It's literally neck and neck with Baltimore and Detroit as far as rushing offense EPA, which is something that's wonderful. Guys, listen, we have 237 of you rocking with me right now. 127 of you are up on X. 109 of you are currently on YouTube. Do me a favor, if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already, Subscribe to the channel, guys. I am giving away a signed Keon Coleman jersey. I'm announcing the winner during the Bills and the San Francisco 49ers live game reaction. You must be a subscriber in order to be a part of my giveaways all season long. So make sure that you're a subscriber so you can be a part of it, all right? And then I'm not done with that. I have a Taron Johnson jersey. I have a Gregory Rousseau jersey. I have a Benford jersey. All of them are signed. I'm giving those away to you as well. And, of course, a Dalton Kincaid signed rookie card. So if you want to be a part of all of these, certainly make it happen. Sheesh, don't jinx him to leave. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I totally understand. Thought maybe you should hook up with Joe Marino and do a collaboration. I'm always open to do collaborations with anybody in the Bills community, anybody. I think I better look pretty damn good. What else do you think we need? Thomas. Damn, what's up, Thomas? How you doing, baby? How you doing, man? Smash that like button and subscribe, Keith. Absolutely. Not to pocket watch, but isn't Kellen Moore the highest paid offensive coordinator? Would he take a head coach if given permission to leave? He makes too much money to do less than a head coach. I see him staying. So I'll be completely honest with you. And that's fine to pocket watch. That's cool. All right. Funny enough, I think that America is the only country on the face of the planet that makes asking people about money taboo. I feel like everywhere else you go around the world, it's actually like a pretty common like topic, like as far as questions. I never really understood that. So like why money was taboo, but I always try to go on ahead and respect others because some people feel uncomfortable talking about it. But yeah, dude, listen, Kellen Moore, this dude, he's not good, right? Like guy always ends up having. I just realized I didn't have the right mic on. Holy shit. You guys need to tell me. You need to tell me when my mic isn't working, baby. And it sounds like shit. But now it sounds better. I was never much of a Kellen Moore believer because he always starts off hot and then he ends up completely fizzling. Like, don't be surprised if we start to see this Philadelphia Eagles offense start to go out there and look like buns within the next couple of weeks. He has a lot of very talented personnel, which certainly helps him out. He could potentially be a head coach candidate, but I think that he's probably going to stay put just because that dude's out there making some cash. Jones ended up getting released. Daniel Jones did. All right. And so the Miami Dolphins, brand new quarterback. I'm just kidding. Someone stole my question in an earlier video, very early, but what position are we going to draft? Bobby HZ. Right now, I think that we would focus probably on an edge rusher. So hopefully to go on ahead and replace Von Miller if he elects to retire this offseason. And then I also would be interested in a perimeter corner. And I would also be interested in another wide receiver if Amari Cooper decides to hit free agency after the fact. If I'm a Bills fan, I would not want to post Miami in the first round because that means Miami is playing good and on a roll, and it is hard to beat a team 3 times in the season. Ask the damn Saints. I honestly don't want any part of a divisional game during the playoffs. Less than ideal because they are familiar with the opponent way more than anybody else would be. James Cooper looking pretty damn good, and also Josh is looking pretty good himself. Thomas, shout out to Amari Cooper. Shout out to Josh Allen out there absolutely balling. I could appreciate that. If Joe Brady leaves, and do you think we could get Brian back? I mean, here's the deal. From what I understand, he's safe over in New York. That's according to the reports that he's safe. Hence why I think that he ended up deciding to go with Tommy DeVito. Because if he was serious and he thought that his ass was potentially about to get fired, I think the best move would have been to go with Drew Lock. That's me. But of course, I'm just an outsider looking at it. That's how it all kind of plays out. I think that Brian Dable won't be fired because I think that front office wanted the quarterback, but they couldn't get a quarterback. They tried to trade up for Drake May. They tried to trade up for Jaden Daniels, and it just failed. So I think that the ownership over in the Giants organization is willing to give them another situation. Your voice is sweet no matter what. Not as good as Z-Bot's. Dude, Z-Bot's voice is fucking incredible. I love Z-Bot's voice, dude. I could listen to that going to sleep, man. I should call Z-Bot and have him read me a bedtime story before I go to bed each and every single night. That's my guy right there. I can tell you what, dude. He has that radio voice, man. It's clean. It's crispy. Damn.
All right, listen, I will stop glazing Z-Bot's voice real fast, okay? Dan, who do you think will be Cowboys' next head coach? I think Deion Sanders. Maybe. But, I mean, we'll see if he leaves Colorado. And don't take anything that a coach ever says about, I'm not leaving college. Okay. How many times have we heard that before from a college coach right before he ends up signing a massive contract to the NFL? He's not going to be head coach after one season, and he would be stupid to do it soon, just like Dable was. But I guess McDermott and Dable have huge beef behind the scenes. I mean, I don't know, right? So I really don't know. Like, I'm like sitting here and like I'm trying to gather right now, right? Like, I'm trying to think of a better offensive-minded head coach candidate that could potentially get a job next season. Outside of Ben Johnson, who's a better offensive mind that you think would end up winning it? And normally I'm not like of this belief, but the reason why I'm thinking this is because, guys, there's literally bare minimum 6 jobs that are going to be available this offseason. 6. Maybe even more. 6 is the basement floor of how many jobs are about to be available. And when it comes down into it, like, you can't deny it. Like, yeah, he's young. Like, yeah, like he's going crazy. But like, I'm just telling you, like, listen, like when we see that Joe Brady's interviewing for head coaching positions during the playoffs this year, just don't be surprised. That is my goal. And I'm not saying that he's going to get the job, but like, I'm just saying, like, I am willing to put a lot of money down that when it's about the divisional round, we're going to be hearing news. Breaking news, Joe Brady is interviewing with the Cincinnati Bengals. Breaking news, Joe Brady is interviewing with the New Orleans Saints. Breaking news, Joe Brady is interviewing with so-and-so. He's going to be getting a shit ton of interviews. I promise you that. Brandon Beane will make the right decision for the OC coach. Hasn't he made the right player/personnel choices since he has been here? Certainly has. And listen, you can't sleep on the fact that we just breed coaches, man. Like, we sit there and we absolutely love how much development we see from our second and third year players. Same thing from our coaching staff. Trust Brandon Beane, man. Trust Brandon Beane. It's going to suck when Brady leaves Buffalo. There was a time in the 20th century when coordinators used to stay 10 to 15 years with a team, upsetting the apple cart never helped a team. Josh Allen wins MVP equals MVP. So far, he is in the lead right now. I can tell you that. If Brady leaves the Buffalo hires within the organization, I think some candidate would be a QB coach, Ronald Curry, maybe Kyle Shermer, DJ Magnus. Both are offensive quality coaches. He could go the Ben Johnson route. Hey, listen, Peter, I hope so. I really, really hope so. Listen, man, I would not be disappointed in the slightest if he decides to go the Ben Johnson route. I really do. I really, really do. We have Mojo Chop is saying there is no chance that the Miami Dolphins, a team who has won a playoff game in 40 years, is about to make a run. Just absolutely delusional. Honestly, bro, with Josh and how the rest of the team is built so far, at this point, we should draft O-line, skill position, offensive players, and D-line in that order. Let me read that again. We have offensive linemen, skill position, offensive players, and D-line in that order. I would never be upset with an offensive lineman. If anything, I would be okay with a left guard position. I know that David Edwards has been playing very well this year, but as far as like a true solid left guard, maybe even some tackle depth, although that Vandemark ended up stepping in very nicely for Spencer Brown. As far as starting quality, like me looking around our roster and saying, you know what, like I want like a true starter, like a starter, like a solid starter, I'd probably have to go with left guard. But he's been playing very good too. He's been playing fantastic. Like that offensive line unit we have right now, folks, is one of the best in the league when it comes into pass protection, right? And granted, Josh Allen's mobile, so I'm sure some of the statistics will be skewed no matter which way that you look at it, but still something to consider. Sanders said we don't want to go to the NFL coach. Bills Super Bowl. Thomas, dude, speak it into existence, please. I'm tired. Maya, get some sleep, Maya. What's going on, Maya? Hope all is well. Resign Cooper to stave off the need to add a wide receiver early in the draft. Offensive line, defensive line, boundary corner, and developmental depth would be a primary focus. Yeah, man, listen, I am never satisfied with edge rusher help. I am never satisfied with a quality edge rusher. If we need to keep throwing the darts at the board, so to find like a TJ Watt or like a Garrett, or so like a Myles Garrett or like an Aiden Hutchinson sort of edge rusher, I will continue to throw darts at the board until we find somebody with that quality sort of protection. Because like you said, right? Like I would say, so the most important part of an offense is a QB, and the most important part of a defense is the dude that gets to the QB each and every single time, man. Listen, I'm a massive advocate for continuously throwing darts at the board for a generational-esque sort of edge rusher. I would be fine each and every single year with an edge rusher in the first. I would be fine with that. Josh Wynn MVP in my rookie card goes up 50%. Look at that. Look at that. When are we going? When are we moving on from Shavers and Elam? So I feel like we tried to move on from Elam a couple of times, right? This offseason and perhaps even at the trade deadline, but nobody wanted him. I think that he'll be a roster casualty next year, and then Shavers, he won't be on this team next year either. I will tell you what, you're the best voice of the Buffalo Bills 100. Thank you so much, man. Listen, there are a lot of talented people out there that talk about the Bills in the NFL. Very humbling that you guys like to rock with me on a regular basis, man. I appreciate that. I would be nothing without you guys genuinely coming in here, enjoying and talking ball with me on a regular basis. You have absolutely no idea how much it means to me. Love you so much for it. I can't sleep. I can't miss a stream. Maya, I love that. I love that. Listen, shout out to my everydayers, all right? Shout out to everyone that tunes into each and every single stream. Shout out to the newbies as well, and shout out to the day one. Shout out to the dudes that have been here since the very beginning. My first Bills video ever in 2019. I got a lot of you fools in here. I know that, and I appreciate you guys for letting me live my dream, baby. I'm sitting here talking ball with my boys. That's basically how it plays out. Why would we cut Elam? He is solid depth at minimum. Say, for example, like we go like first or second round, like he's gone, right? Like my theory on Kair Elam is that he was a panic pick. So a couple of years back, I think we wanted Trent McDuffie. And then I think Brandon Beane like made a panic pick. And listen, Beane is solid, dude. He is a wonderful GM at being able to find talent, diamonds in the rough. But I think that was one of those opportunities where he very rarely ended up drafting a position and not best available, depending on where the pick ended up lying. Because we drafted Kair Elam when he came from a predominantly man coverage defense where we ran predominantly zone. And I think what he was trying to hope for is that he could eventually pick up some of these zone metrics, right? And like he could pick up so the skill set. And we basically asked him to become an entirely different corner than what he was in college in the first place. That's why I think that he never sees the field. That's why I think that Christian Benford, who is a fifth or a sixth rounder, ended up beating him out on his rookie season. I just think that the experiment failed. Maybe he ends up making the team again next year. But if for example, we end up taking a corner first or second in the draft next year, then I think that that's kind of spelling the fate for good old Kair. You actually inspired me to start my own podcast, my man. You really are the GOAT of Buffalo Bills voices, in my opinion. Dude, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right, listen. Advice for starting your own social media kind of thing, man. Stay strong. Stay committed. Keep posting, no matter what. Okay, when I first started, no one gave a shit. So no one watched, ever. All right? Keep going. I could care less if you get one view an episode and it's your mom. Keep going. Because when you post content on the internet, it is quite literally like you are submitting a lottery ticket each and every single time. All you need is one. All you need is one video to pop off and really create your audience. That's it. I also highly recommend that like you get on TikTok and Instagram. That's something that people don't talk about quite a bit. And treat TikTok and Instagram like Twitter, right? The second that there is a sports take that enters in your dome, make a video and talk about it. That's my advice, dude. Quantity, my friend. Don't obsess over editing. Don't obsess about getting the right equipment. Just fucking do it. I sound like Shia LaBeouf, but just fucking do it, baby. Shout out to Josh. That's my guy. MB41, I think Allen would easily be the best quarterback in the league if he won MVP unanimously. And a Super Bowl MVP, no doubt. LIK. And the Dolphins will make a run. the day Tua stops tackling with his head. Oh my God. Oh, and hey, Dan, thanks for putting me on to Treaty Oak Revival. Dude, Treaty Oak Revival is the best Southern rock band out today. I'm big on Treaty Oak Revival, man. Dude, I have been dying to see them live. I am going to hunt them down this summer, and I'm going to catch them live. They are quite literally the best Southern rock band out today. Treaty Oak Revival, no questions asked. Don't sleep on Turnpike Troubadours either. They're solid. Elam had a great offseason and training camp by every report. Benford is the best cornerback in football this year. Douglas is at worst like 6-10. Nobody is cracking that lineup, right? Shout out right back at you, Smiley. We have Josh, we the ones. Ricky is in the chat. What's going on? Still feel he will stay one more year. I mean, Ricky, I hope so, bro. And so I really hope so. It's just so going back right to this topic about Joe Brady, I would normally agree with you guys, but the problem is that there's so many openings. There's so many openings, and not everybody is going to be hiring a defensive-minded head coach, right? There's going to be a couple that are going to want an offensive mind. And outside of Ben Johnson, I can't think of a single candidate that is better than Joe Brady right now that has the resume that he has. So that's why that's why I think it's a possibility, is purely based off of all of the openings. Like, I think bare minimum, like, dude gets at least 2 interviews by the time that it's in the playoffs. Wish him the best of luck if he is, but I don't think he will be a good head coach. Good coordinator, but don't see it as a head coach. I would wish him the best of luck as well. And do you listen to Locked On Bills? I do. He's a great guy. Does a great job over at Locked On Bills, indeed. I wonder if Diggs regrets his diva behavior. I wonder. Man, Dan, haven't made it for a while. It's awesome to see how much bigger this has gotten. Archangel, what's going on, man? I appreciate that. I'm glad you're coming back in. Yeah, dude, it's been a grind, bro. It's been a grind, man. We have been welcoming in quite a few new people to the community. It's likely because I'm bribing each and every single one of you with signed memorabilia all season, but it doesn't matter. I'll take it. I hope that you just decide to stay for the content, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Is there any relation to Creedence Clearwater? I'm not necessarily sure where we're coming here. Rex wants to go back to the Jets. Go back to the Jets, Rex, please. Bills should pick up Daniel Jones and wave bye to Mitchell Untrue Biscuit. Wow. Mitchy Biscuits is not the favorite over there by Paul Costa, man. We could say that. Didn't he sign a 3-year contract last year? Don't know if this matters, though, but would be sad to see him go. Yeah, but like with coaching contracts aren't like really associated with the cap. And then largely, like that money is typically paid out via salary, from my understanding. So say, for example, he takes a head coaching job, then we wouldn't, or so the Pagulas wouldn't be responsible for paying it. All of Bills' offensive stats / rankings are middle of the pack, except scoring and sacks taken. It'll be another year before Brady gets a head coaching job. It's just too soon, in my opinion. Guys, listen, I hope you're right. I really do. Beto is coming in saying Elam is CB2 next year. And do you really think that they're going to pay Rasul Douglas top money when they have a more physically gifted, cost-effective corner just waiting in the wings to prove himself? But like, here's the deal, right? Like, he would have already, right? And like, I don't want to be known as a Kair Elam hater, but the problem is that he's now had, right, 2 different defensive coordinators. He had Sean McDermott last year, who wouldn't allow him to be on the field. Okay. This year he had Bobby Babich. They also ended up bringing in a DBs coach who specialized in man coverage. Right. And he still hasn't won the job. So I'm not saying that he's a bad corner, but I'm just saying that I feel like we drafted a guy in hopes that he could become an entirely different corner than what he is, because we run predominantly zone. And he was known for his man coverage capabilities out in college. I think it was a panic pick. I think we wanted Trent McDuffie, hence why I think that we ended up doing that. But like, potentially I could. And I mean, I would love to be wrong, but like dude, I just don't see it, right? I just don't see it. I don't know. That's my thought process. Spear Sports Network. Yo, Dan, Are you going to live stream on your cruise? Maybe, hopefully. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be on a cruise next week. I'm very excited about it. Sunday I leave, and then I get back on the Sunday during the Bills and the 49ers game. I'm going to be driving my ass back home so your boy can be back and stream that 49ers game. I might be a little late for it, but is what it is. We're going to have a good time. I will be live regardless. But I am going to try my best to make sure that I at least give you my early streams while I'm on the open seas. All right. I don't know how good the internet is going to be, so bear with me. However, I will refuse to keep you guys uninformed. All right. But I am also going to unplug a little bit because damn, I need a fucking vacation. You have no idea. We have Izzy. Dan, I told you we were going to beat Kansas City. So glad you were correct, man. If Elam was great, we wouldn't have had to go get Douglas, but glad we did. Maya is coming in. I love the official Bills channel. They make very funny shorts. Hey, dude, they do, man. Chalking it up. Dan, if the Bills win the Super Bowl, what is your reaction? I'm streaking down the road. I'm getting arrested for public indecency. If Bean doesn't resign, Douglas and Elam doesn't show what we need to see him from him, a CB2. How about J.C. Horn from the Panthers? I mean, listen, that or maybe we just end up drafting like we typically do because that dude ends up doing it. And so you got to take that flag with you. I am not going to take the flag with me. I have a couple of Bills shirts in there, so that's funny. My whole family is going on a cruise leaving Sunday. Maybe we're going on the same one. Maybe we're going on the same one, John Coleman. Let me know. Remember, Josh Allen Norman wasn't good the first couple of years in the NFL. We have Anthony. Somebody named Jonathan Jones said Daniel Jones will be on the Bills. Listen, I would actually be open to it next year. Like, I think that Daniel Jones would be a quality backup QB. Like, not a starter. All right? So not a starter. But I do think that he would be a quality backup QB on a couple of different organizations. I'm a day one. Yeah, you are, Alex Smith. I appreciate that. All right, fools. I love each and every single one of you. I really, really do. I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to finish packing. My friends, like I said, no content tomorrow. No content on Sunday. And by no content, I mean no streams. But I will be putting out a bunch of little short videos like I typically do. But do me a favor. Smash that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really hope that I'm going to be able to go live this week while I'm on the boat. I will try my damnedest to make sure my boys are entertained. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm out.